Here we go, episode 75 of the Hardline Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. I'm joined as always by John Michael Masiri. JM, how are you doing on this perfectly fall, crisp day?
Nope, not perfect.
Perfect.
Not perfect. Seeing my phone and checking the temperature, seeing 58 degrees.
Look at that. 58 degrees.
Did not put a smile on my face. No more warm weather for now. Well, we'll have a couple warmer days, but
Summer's overrated.
No more tans.
This is grit. This is New York grit. Okay, you deal with the cold, you deal with the elements because you love this state, you love this city.
No,
grit, New York grit.
Hey, listen, living in New York is cool. Oh no, why is my thing going off? My Amazon, I can't say the name because then she'll turn on. Okay, we're good. Yeah, no, New York is cool. Living here, weather-wise though,
it's cool.
Not the best.
And you have grit, and somebody else has grit. Aaron Judge has grit, although Thursday night I thought he had a walk-off home run to tie Roger Maris for 61, but he didn't. It was caught at the warning track. But either way, the Yankees did win the game and clinch a postseason spot. And we'll talk a little bit about the Yankees in a little bit, but we are going to start off with Aaron Judge, who not only is about to tie the American League home run record, but right now today he would win the Triple Crown. And that is something that has never been done by a Yankee is this. So you've had a couple of guys hit 60 home runs, Maris, Ruth, now Judge is at 60. And you've also had a couple of guys hit for the Triple Crown, Gehrig and Mantle. Neither of them hit 60 and had the Triple Crown in 1 year, and Judge has the chance to do that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the names that are being thrown in the conversation with Judge's name are crazy, obviously. I mean, you just named some of the greatest players to ever walk the earth. Yeah, I mean, we're all, whether you're a Yankee fan or not, we're all extremely lucky to be witnessing this right now. Definitely, this is the most memorable season of an individual player that I have on a team that I'm a fan of in my life by far. And it might be, one of, if not the most memorable ones we see in sports in a really long time. So it's been fun. I'm going to be at the game on Sunday. I'm really hoping that he hits either 61 or 62 when I go, hopefully right into my glove. Probably not.
You're in right field, right?
I'm in right field in the first row. So it's going to have to be like a porch job, like a little pop fly. Maybe I reach over the wall, Jeffrey Mayer type beat.
Do it.
Exactly. That'd be perfect.
It is insane. We'll talk about the ball in 1 second, but I do want to talk about just how impressive this year is. And we've been comparing, so many people have been trying to compare, this year to Barry Bonds or seasons that Mark McGwire have had. And it should be an honor that this season is being compared to guys of those likes. But to me, the most impressive part is that 2 weeks, the start of September, even, over 2 weeks ago, right? His batting average was sitting high 290s. Okay. The Triple Crown wasn't really a thought. It didn't seem possible. But the fact that this guy has now raised his batting average to, 316, 317 now?
316, yep.
And he's in the lead, or, right there. Right there. Is he still in the lead?
He is, yep. Bogarts went like over 5 last night, so.
The fact that he's in the lead after being, not even close to it a couple of weeks ago. I think the Triple Crown right now this might be crazy. I think it could be looked at as more impressive than what he's done with the home runs, because the home runs have felt kind of inevitable. But the Triple Crown is it's like a comeback story.
Right. Well, yeah, the Triple Crown's a fresh thing, like you just said. We were kind of expecting at one point with the home runs, like, all right, he's still on pace. But how about this? If I would have said to you in the offseason, whether it's Aaron Judge or anybody else What do you think's more likely this year? A guy breaks Roger Maris's home run record, or somebody gets the Triple Crown? What do you think your answer would be?
What's more impressive?
What do you think? No, what do you think is more likely to happen?
I would probably say the home run record.
Really? I would say the opposite. I'd say
because you don't have control over the Triple Crown.
Yeah, good point. But like, for example, when Miggy won it, he only hit like what, 44 homers or something, which obviously that's a lot still, but it's not 65 or whatever Judge is going to end up with.
I don't know. I think because it's multiple stats and there are some things that you don't have control over with Judge. I don't know. It's felt inevitable all year. And I feel like since we've been talking about it all year, maybe, it's kind of, I appreciate it. I don't know. I don't appreciate, but I do, believe me. I mean, I sat there every at bat while I was watching the Thursday night football game, and I put Fox on my phone just to make sure I watched his at bats yesterday. And by the way, the Boston Red Sox look like they have absolutely no intention of pitching to this guy, and for their sake, rightfully so. We could argue about that in a minute, but either way, it's insane. And I know that we've been talking offline about how you believe this is just as impressive or even more impressive than what Bonds and McGuire have done, and I'm kind of on that side. And that's basically, a Hall of Fame, steroids. Do you count it? Do you view those records as number one? That's that kind of debate, and I don't know if you want to get into that. Because it's like it's different. It's almost like a steroid, non-steroid.
All right, listen. This is my stance on all that stuff. Yankee Judge, like, it's not even me because it's Judge and now I'm going to be biased and blah, blah, blah. I've been arguing with my brother about Barry Bonds for a decade. I just think that that era happened. We're not going to ignore that it happened. All their stats can stand and whatever. But me personally, I'm not going to view those records and compare them to the records that are being set now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. Everybody says like, oh, well, it's a different era. Then like, okay, then why are we even comparing them in the first place? Like, we talk about the dead ball era, or back then guys are hitting 420 and blah, blah, blah. Nobody really cares about those records. These guys they would lead the league in home runs and have 4 home runs in 1905 or whatever was going on back then. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, Bonds was juiced up, obviously. McGuire was juiced up. I mean, the year Bonds hit 73, didn't McGuire hit 62 or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
64, whatever the hell he hit. So I'm going to view Aaron Judge's 60, whatever he gets when he passes Maris. And me personally, that's going to be the record. I'll view him as the home run king.
And I think that's what's so great about baseball, because listen, Major League Baseball says Bonds is number one. He's 73 in their record books. It's 73, although they don't put him in the Hall of Fame. But Major League Baseball doesn't really have a say on that. The writers do, but different discussion for a different day. The great thing about baseball is that you can view it as you wanted. Tim Kirchin of ESPN was actually saying this. If you want to say, like, exactly what you just said, if you want to view Bonds as 73 as number one, like I view that as number one, you do so. But if you want to say Judge's, whatever it's going to be, is the home run king, then you should do that. That's what's great about baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it's just 36 years old, 73 home runs, head the size of a pumpkin. It's not the same thing to me. So that's why I'm going to not view it as a home run record. But everybody's got their opinion, I guess.
Steroids make you what? Steroids makes you be able to recover faster.
No, but that's the thing is, you don't know, like, steroids, guys took steroids and they sucked. So this isn't a video game and you take steroids and you get +5 in all your attributes. Like, some guys could take off from steroids and be amazing, and other guys could it doesn't really help them. So that's why I think it's kind of just like, there's no distinctive advantage that you could say it gives you. So how am I supposed to know that Barry Bonds didn't take steroids? he would have hit 60 home runs or 30 home runs in his age 36 season. We don't know.
By the way, I do this from time to time. I go and I look at his baseball reference page, and
Oh, it's just stupid.
the 2004 season, and we may have even talked about this, I think is the most impressive season he had over the 73 home run season.
Is that when he was like a 609 on base or whatever?
Yeah, so he had a 609 on base. He had a 1400 OPS. He was intentionally walked 120 times that year. He walked 232 times, and he only had 45 home runs. And by the way, he hit 362.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn impressive.
Well, you ever see that? You've seen that video, right? What if Barry Bonds went up to the plate without a bat in his hand?
No.
There's no way. I've watched that video like 3 times. I'll send it to you. It's like, you ever see like those SB Nation YouTube videos? They do all these like they do like those beef videos. They did one on like A-Rod and Jeter. And
Oh, okay. Yes.
So let's see. What if Barry Bonds? No bat. Here we go. I'll send it. Actually, it's not SB Nation. It's Secret Base.
Is it interesting?
Watch it after the show. It's very interesting.
He's interesting. Barry Bonds is interesting. And actually, I just read a little quick headline here that Barry Bonds is a big Aaron Judge fan. He would love for the Yankees outfielder to join Giants and break his home run record this season.
Damn.
So that's kind of what I want to talk about next.
Don't.
And I know we're still in the middle of the season, or toward the end of the regular season, getting to the postseason. And, we're going to talk about Jacob deGrom in a minute and how Buster Olney thinks he's leaving the Mets. And my viewpoint on this is I don't want to talk about the offseason, but guess what? The offseason's entertaining. The fact that star players, some of the best players at their positions could possibly be leaving our city, our favorite team. So it's just a perfect, viewpoint that they could be leaving and joining other teams elsewhere. I think that is very interesting, and we're going to have to talk about it because I was sitting down at the dinner table last night, and I said to my dad, I said, you're going to be paying Aaron Judge for a season in which he's never going to have again. He's never going to have a season like this, and you're going to pay for it no matter the team.
Right.
Is it worth it? And I think the answer is 100% yes.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an overpay no matter what. I mean, all the free agent contracts are, honestly. Who do you think is more likely to go?
This is my thing. The season that Aaron Judge is having, I think there is a better chance that a desperate owner throws a desperate contract offer out there that is just more than anybody would even think. Right. I don't know who that team is. Could it be the Giants? It could be. I don't know. But I would say just because of that. But again, the deGrom contract would be easier.
Right.
Because it's short term.
The thing with Judge.
I would say Judge.
I don't know what he's going to be asking for because now, you hear little rumors and the way Boris is his agent, right?
I don't think so.
Is he not?
I'm going to look it up right now.
I might assume he is because he represents everybody.
No, but Boris is not his agent. I'm going to get his agent.
Not?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see.
But I've been seeing some stuff about what if he gets a Carlos Correa type of thing where they just give him a couple years and a ton of money from some team wherever. I don't think that's what Judge wants. Especially, I don't think that makes sense for him going into his age 31 season. I don't know why he would want to do that. I think he's just going to want a long-term deal and be locked in somewhere. The number that keeps popping into my head, I don't know, this is crazy. You let me know. Because we've never seen a guy after this big of a year hit the free agent market, right?
The greatest walk year maybe ever.
Yeah.
In any sport.
8 years, 400.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's what keeps popping in my head.
At that point, call me crazy. Why don't you do 10 at 40?
Yeah,
10 at
honestly,
40.
Yeah.
You give him that sense of control. This is your last contract, probably. You'll be paid $40 million a year at this number. Why not?
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a desperate team that because 10 at 400 was the number. That's what I was thinking of. That desperate team throwing that out there.
I just wonder what his thought process is going to be like because, he's like a union guy and all of that. So I don't think he's just going to take a hometown discount from the Yankees. But, if it comes down to he's got a 10-year or let's say a 9-year, $350 million offer from the Yankees versus a 10-year, $400 million deal from somebody else, is he going to go strictly based off money or will he say, I really want to be a Yankee, I'll take that deal?
I think he's going to take 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's $50 million difference.
Yeah.
That's a lot. He's in a good spot. He's in a pretty good spot. How about that? And you're right about that short-term contract deal. I've heard that thrown out there, even a 5-year contract at $45 million, something like that, something crazy like that. To me, I don't think that's worth it because you're not setting yourself up for another big-time contract. Yeah. You want the 7, 8, 9, 10, possibly year contract at whatever the AAV is going to be.
He's not 27.
Right. It would make sense if he was 27.
Yeah, he's going to be
100%. It's
very terrifying.
How, on a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you as a Yankee fan that he's going to leave?
It's just because it's like Kyle Steinbrenner and I don't know, like the way this team has operated over the past couple of years. And like, listen, they haven't been like cheap. Like obviously we've Garrett Cole, who's on the biggest contract that we starting pitchers ever received. But very, very nervous. Like past a probably like a 7 or an 8.
Wow.
Just because I don't trust them to dish the book out to him. And listen, usually I'd be like, all right, if it gets to a certain number, like that's crazy. But like with him, like
there's no number.
He's the face. He is literally the New York Yankees. He is the branding of your team. He's Derek Jeter. He's Babe Ruth. He's all those guys that you say like the pride of the Yankees. That's what Aaron Judge is. Last night I'm watching the game. I forgot I was a Yankee fan for a sec. I was like just like an Aaron Judge fan the whole time. You know what I mean? Like He's at the plate. Everybody's freaking standing up for his at bat.
Like it's a World Series, like it's a playoff series, and
literally
it's the last out.
Sold out. I wanted to go to the game yesterday. The tickets were expensive. I'm like, all right, we'll wait. Me and my friends were like, wait till it gets down to like 2 hours before game time. The price should go down. We go to check. They're like double the price because there's no tickets left. Place is sold out. When Trevino came to the plate in the 9th inning, I actually think Yankee Stadium would have booed if he had a walk-off home run.
I think so too.
Because Aaron Judge was on deck. Like, no joke. And then even they won yesterday. And maybe it's because now, like, all right, it's basically a lock that we're going to win the division. We have a 7.5 game lead. But when Donaldson hit the walk-off, I was like, all right. I was like, nice. Like, let's go.
All right, yeah, you clinched the playoff spot. All right,
yeah,
it's whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a joke. I see all these Yankee fans reposting on Instagram.
When you do it every season,
clinch the postseason. Give me a break.
Yeah,
clinch the postseason.
For us Met fans, I mean that's a big thing. It's only happened 4 times in my lifetime now. But when you've done it that many times in the last 4 years, you don't really need to post it.
No, and it's not even like we're so above that. It's like I'm just like, can we not celebrate this? Like we fall short in the freaking wild card and division round every year.
There are different expectations.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not expectations, but different standards, I guess. 100%.
Expectation. Yeah.
You know what's crazy before we turn it over to the NL East?
What?
I can't believe. And listen, they've had a really good season. I can't believe the Yankees are not going to win 100 games. I cannot believe that.
I know.
Unless they went on, some kind of run where they go 9 out of how many games do they have left? 11 games?
They got to go 9-4.
Oh, they have 13 games left?
Yeah.
I thought there was 11 games left. All right, so maybe they can.
Yeah.
But either way, still blows my mind.
Yeah, they were at that point where they were 60 and 23, whatever, and we just said They got to go like 500 to finish out the season with 100 wins, basically.
Yeah, and there's a
I
chance
mean,
they don't do
the
that.
month of August was terrible. It was just horrible for everybody. I'm looking at Gleyber Torres' stats. I'm looking at Giancarlo Stanton's stats. Everybody was terrible in August.
Talk about useless. I know he had a home run last night. And the walk-off against the Pirates. You can't be happy with him. I mean, nobody can really be happy with him.
He's got to pull it together. I mean, he was an all-star. And
I know.
Now his stats on the season are down to like, ugh.
And the batting average was always low, and we talk about batting averages that mean as much. But now when you compile everything, he comes off the injury, he's struggling, the batting average drops even more. Now it's like, come on, dude, what are you doing for me?
I mean, listen, he's a career 265 hitter. He's never had a batting average under 240. His lowest with the Yankees was, I'm not even going to count 2020 because he played 23 games. 2018, his first year, he batted 266. So now he's batting 215.
Right.
You know, that's the thing with Stan. Everybody thinks this guy like can't hit for contact for whatever reason. In his 3 years with the Yankees, actually, I can't even count 2019 because he played 18 games. But in his 2 fully healthy seasons with the Yankees, 288 and 273. Like, he hits for contact.
Is Stanton going to be a Hall of Famer?
You know, it's close. Probably.
He's going to be a lock for 500.
He's only 32 years old. So
he'll hit 500 home runs.
He'll hit he'll definitely hit 500 home runs. He's not definitely, but he should hit 500 home runs. He's definitely going to hit 400. He is 375 right now.
I don't think 400 gets him in.
Nah, probably not.
I think he needs the 500.
But then again, he's got, 891 career OPS is great. He's got the MVP, 5-time All-Star, a couple Silver Sluggers. Maybe if he wins a World Series, I mean, I don't think that should really make a difference, but maybe if he wins a World Series, that'll help him out. He's been a great postseason player in his career for the Yankees, at least. I mean, the Marlins, I don't even know if did he ever even make the playoffs with the Marlins.
I don't think so.
The Yankees. All right, just want to look at the Yankees splits in August. Just crazy. Like that Pythagorean win-loss thing?
Yeah.
Their Pythagorean win-loss is 98 and 51.
Oh, they're supposed to be 98 and 51?
Yeah. Now,
pretty crazy.
They're not 98 and 51. Show months. All right, this is going to be really entertaining. This is the team stats. Oh, baby. All right. So, in June, they had a 798 OPS as a team.
Okay.
In July, they had an 835 OPS as a team. And then in August, 651.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they batted 221. Not good. Not what you want.
It's definitely not what you want.
OPS plus was 74 in August, and it was 122 in July. So, August was not the best month. Not
the Yankees month. Something that they will forget about quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly, back to Stanton for a second. Let's say he hits 125 more home runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would have, trying to do quick math here, 235 home runs, just about. 233, actually. That would give him around 20 home runs less than he had with Miami. Who does he go in as?
Nah, he'll go in as a Yankee, probably.
It's nicer going as a Yankee. It's better for yourself to go in as a Yankee.
Yeah, come on, dude. You can't stand up there with a freaking Marlins hat.
All right. Let's move over to the NL East, the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Finally, the Atlanta Braves are slumping a little bit. You see the month of September that Matt Olson's having?
I do not.
He's batting under 100.
Oh, good.
And Austin Riley also has not had a great couple of weeks either. He's been struggling big time, but they are still a game and a half behind the New York Mets, who just came off a 6-game winning streak. Still, game and a half lead. The magic number for the Mets to clinch the NL East is 11. It went down a game last night after the Phillies beat the Braves 1-0. Can't tell you how big of a Philly fan I am this weekend. If I could put a P right here on this hat, I would. I really would.
Die
Let's
hard.
go Phillies.
Yeah, love it. Ozzy Albies, that was kind of crazy with the Braves.
Yeah. It's
I
not,
mean,
again, not what you want, but can I say this, please? And I'm not taking anything away from him. Well, actually, I might be. For his position, he's good. He's a solid player. Hits home runs. He's overrated.
yeah,
He's an
you're right.
overrated player.
He
And
is
I
overrated.
would take my chances with Vaughn Grissom, who I think is going to be a star at second base.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. He is overrated.
Come on.
What was that clip I saw about Gary Cohen?
I saw this. I saw this last night. I didn't think it was that bad. He was like, he said something. He said, "Oh, Albies came back from the injury," and then Keith was like, and then he said, and he just left the game or something. He fractured his finger, and Keith was like, "Oh boy, that's not good." And Gary said like, "Oh, nice to have you back," or something like that.
Yeah, he
But
said
then
like, "Nice seeing you, Ozzy." Yeah,
but they cut the clip off. I think he said something else after too. Like, that's obviously, not what you want or something like that.
they walked it back real quick.
Not walking it back, but I don't know if it was like that bad. I don't know. I got my Gary Cohen blinders on. I think he's a perfect human being.
That series in Atlanta is going to be fun. I hope that the division is still like really close when you guys play each other.
I don't. If it stays like this, where it's kind of a game and a half, the Mets only have to win one game in Atlanta. And then they can lose the next two.
If they take a game, right. But like right now, the way it stands, if they play a game, if they win a game, then it'll be a half game lead, or I don't know if they're only one back in the loss column, the Braves.
Right.
So I don't know if they'll be on the same amount of games played by that point, but let's just say a game. Who the Mets got last year's of the year?
Washington.
Oh, please. Although
they did play him tough last time.
Yeah. And Washington just beat the Braves, no?
Yeah, they stole a game from that series.
Yeah, come on now. Don't sleep on the Nats.
You can't. They've been playing tough ball. And right after they took 2 out of 3 from the Mets, they went to St. Louis and took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals.
Oh, Luke Voigt, best national to wear 34.
Yeah, really. Anyway, it is. I really don't want that series to. I hope that the Mets can clinch it there. Clinch it with 2 wins in Atlanta. They're going to have DeGrom. As long as everything stays good, knock on wood, everybody's healthy, it's going to be Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett.
Yep.
For that last series. So, for that second to last series. So, hopefully, that's how that stands. But it's been unbelievable, this race. And the Mets had a little skid. They lost 3 in a row to the Cubs at home, got swept, but then they took care of business against the Pirates and the Brewers. So, hopefully, they can figure this out. Keep winning. That's all. A couple of days off next week before Atlanta, so it'll be good. I think the Mets will be fine. I think right now my confidence level at a very alarming rate is high. I think they're going to win the division. I'm fairly confident that they're going to win the division. But you know what? Call me crazy. How many days off do the division winners have?
A lot, like a week.
I don't like that.
You think they get stale or something?
Not that I think they get stale. I think that, and listen, the teams that are going to have off are great teams, like great teams. But I just feel like you're allowing other teams to get hot, and that's what the postseason's about. You're letting these teams get hot. I mean, you're not letting them, but they are. They're getting hot, and they're going to go on a run, and they may be able to beat you in a 5-game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I don't love it.
I get it. All right. Well, I got the doctor's office calling me, so let's go to break.
All right. Sounds good. We are back. Episode 75 of the Hardline Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. I'm with John Michael Masiri. JM, let's get into the NFL. Never stops. It's the greatest show in the world. It's actually taken over a day from the Lord. It took over Sunday. It's the Lord's Day, and in my mind, it'll always be the Lord's Day, but it's also the NFL's day, and they're just that big. So let's talk about the NFL. On Thursday, which I think they've taken over as well, Thursday, was an interesting game. It was all right. A little boring at times. Lost me a ton of money, but on one stupid last touchdown. But doesn't matter. Browns Steelers. Browns avenged their heartbreaking loss to your New York Jets last week, and they beat the Steelers. And I think it's now time to ask the question: should Kenny Pickett be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers going forward?
I don't see why not. I think it's a difference when you look at certain prospects coming out and in their rookie year, it's like, oh, we need to give this guy time. He's a little raw. Kenny Pickett's not a really young guy. I mean, he played, correct me if I'm wrong, he played all 4 years at Pittsburgh, right?
Played a while at Pitt.
Yeah. So, this guy's pretty pro ready, I would think, compared to a couple of his peers that, usually come out of the draft at a younger age. So I think they should just throw him in. I think the Steelers should be content with having their first losing season in a while. It's not going to be a dumpster fire year, I don't think. I think they could still win 7 or even 8 games. But Mitch Trubisky's just bad. And you could kind of see, I don't know. I wish like John Boy could get a breakdown or something, but yesterday I'm watching the end of the game, and I don't know if you saw that clip of Pickens on the sideline talking to Deontay Johnson and Claypool, and they all look like pissed off. It really seems like they had to be talking about Trubisky or the play calling or something, because they just seem really frustrated. The interview after the game in week 2 when they lost to the Patriots, Deontay Johnson basically said Mitch Trubisky is bad. Like he's like, you got to hold the quarterback accountable too, which is kind of like, and then they asked Najee Harris, they're like, were you the design, was that wheel, like, was that play designed to you? And he was like, he hesitated, he didn't know what to say. And he was like, yeah, it was. Basically saying like, Mitch screwed up.
I'll take the blame.
It would have been a touchdown. Yeah, it was, the play was to me.
Listen.
So yeah, I really don't see why they shouldn't get him in there. It's not like Mr. Trubisky's like locked up with the Steelers.
No, I mean, if you have these players coming out and saying these things about him, maybe not taking shots, but almost indirect shots, like enough's enough with Mitch, I think that at the end of the day, you should probably move on to a guy that could be your future. And I think when you draft a quarterback in the first round, it is inevitable that not only, the fan base and the media is going to want to see this guy and see what he can do, but maybe some of the players on this team that are going to be there for a little while also want to see what the next franchise quarterback could possibly do for the team. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it would be a bad thing at all. But you have to ask, is he ready? And if he's not ready, don't throw him out there. But if you think he's ready, there's no reason not to, especially if you have what people like to call the mini bye week here, playing Thursday night and not playing for another week and a half.
Isn't it funny how the NFL just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. Like, this is what I was thinking yesterday. I was making a joke with my friends because I'm funny, hilarious.
Yeah, you're the funniest.
Yeah. The Browns beat the Steelers. The Jets beat the Browns.
Right.
The Steelers beat the Bengals. Jets play the Bengals Sunday. Got to be an auto win, no? Got to be
for
the Jets.
You think so?
Lock it in. No, but really, it's funny the way that works. It's like teams beat other teams, but then they'll beat a team that's worse than them or that's better than that. Like there's no sense in the NFL.
There's no rhyme or reason for it.
No, not at all.
It just happens.
I don't know how to address the Bengals then. You think about the Bengals, they just lost to, and we'll talk about them in a little bit, but they lost to Pittsburgh, and now Pittsburgh looks like crap.
Let's talk about them. Pittsburgh's defense is really good. I don't think there's any denying that. Even without TJ Watt, for the most part, looked pretty good last night on the road, give up 23 points with a bad play. When you have a bad offense, not putting you in great spots, I don't think that was a bad performance from the Pittsburgh defense last night.
No.
They're missing one of the better players in the NFL, and TJ Watt. They're still good. On the Bengals side, they still have a massive problem. They still don't have an offensive line. Joe Burrow has been sacked 13 times in 2 weeks. That is not okay. And they made changes to this offensive line. They brought people in, productive people in. I remember seeing this this quote from Lyle Collins, the tackle they got from the Cowboys. "I'm your new bodyguard." Well, your guy's been shot 13 times now, bud. You're not doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Bengals last year and said they were kind of like an anomaly because Joe Burrow's getting sacked nonstop and they make it to the Super Bowl. It doesn't make any sense how this is happening. You know, usually when we talk about in the NFL, we say you need to protect your quarterback. You need to protect your quarterback. If you can't, then you can't win ball games, whatever. And they were able to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. But I think that I don't know if I want to call it luck or it's running out. You're not going to be able to be consistently successful with a terrible offensive line. And I think it's proving right so far. I mean, they're 0-2. We talked about the Steelers lost. They lost to the Cowboys, the Cooper Rush Cowboys. Micah Parsons had a field day. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. Obviously, they're playing the Jets. So I don't know if that's they lost to the Jets last year, but that doesn't really matter. So they're still the favorites for this game. Um, Obviously, it's a must win for them. I don't know how many teams have made the playoffs starting 0-3. It's a very, very short list,
Not many have done it 0-2.
but they better start winning some ball games because this season could be a disaster for the Bengals if they lose on Sunday.
Yeah, listen, you're right. I think they got lucky, not A, sustaining a terrible injury to Joe Burrow with the amount of times he was sacked, and B, actually winning games with a bad offensive line. But I think Dan Orlovsky was talking about this, and I'm not going to take credit for it because he is great. Dan Orlovsky is. And he was saying that the Bengals last year knew their weakness. They knew they had a bad offensive line. So they would call plays. Their offense was, designed around getting the ball out quickly. Now it's not, because they thought they were going to be able to upgrade their offense and upgrade their offensive line. They haven't been able to do that. Therefore, these play calls take time to develop. These plays take time to develop, and they can't now because Joe Burrow was under so much duress. They may have to go back to what they were trying to do last year if they're going to get anything out of this season. Otherwise, I think it could be a lost season. And at this point, I mean, I think I predicted them to make the playoffs by a game. I don't see them making the playoffs at all right now.
Well,
in week 3.
I think also, teams might have figured them out a little bit. You give teams a full offseason, defensive coordinators to scheme against them. They might have figured some stuff out. What was I just gonna say? Burrow, I mean, listen, hopefully Burrow stays healthy. Obviously his rookie year he got hurt, and if he's getting hit this many times, that starts to worry you. He also hasn't played very well. You know how bad he played week 1? He threw what, 3 or 4 picks, something like that. I'm excited for Sunday to see just a little bit about the Jets side. I know the Jets aren't really a national story, but the corner matchups are going to be fun. I'm assuming they'll probably in man situations have Sauce on Higgins and Reed on Chase. I think that makes a little more sense just because Higgins is a big guy and Sauce is their biggest corner. But that's going to be fun. And, hopefully we see a nice breakout game for somebody on that Jets defensive line. Maybe a little Carl Lawson, 2 sacks, something like that. But
yeah, that's something that has not worked out for the Jets, right? The defensive line has not been good to start the year. So they need to improve there. Where's Quinn Williams been? I mean, I remember this guy coming out of college. He was just can't miss prospect and dealt with some injuries over the last couple of years, but hasn't really lived up to that hype. They need him to become that guy. Carl Lawson, coming off a big injury, I think he'll get it going. But again, I think expectations
last week.
I think expectations were a little too high for Carl Lawson coming in.
Yeah,
because I remember the training camp they kept raving about against Mekhi Becton. I think that was more Mekhi Becton being crap than Carl Lawson being that great. But you expect him to play a role on this defensive line.
They haven't been too bad. I mean, Quinnen's been pretty good actually. I mean, he's an interior defensive lineman, so he's not going to have a ton of stats, and he's not going to have a 12 sack season. But Lawson had his first sack last week. The run defense wasn't so great last week, but
it's a great run game.
The defense looked great against Baltimore at home week 1 until they just got worn down. But we'll see what happens.
Bengals, not high on them. We'll see what happens this week. I think I actually like the Bengals this week to go into MetLife and get a little revenge on last season and kind of try and turn their season around. I don't know if they'll be able to do it, but we'll see.
Well, this is what happened. Before we move on, this is my last thing.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we talk about like teams like, oh, their schedule's so tough. And we talk about in the off season. I always say, like, sometimes I want my team to have a tougher schedule in the off season because I feel like half the time the teams that we thought were going to be good end up sucking. Like now you look at this, the first 4 games for the Jets, the Bengals are 0-2, look like crap. So now all of a sudden this game is winnable. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win, but it's realistic that they could win the game. And then Pittsburgh looks like crap.
They look like crap, and they lost their best defensive player.
Yeah.
Not ideal. Not what you want to start the year, but it's definitely not as hard as you thought it was going to be.
No.
100%. You're right about that. Very quickly, the New York Giants are 2-0, and they are going to be playing, how you just mentioned, Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys at home Monday Night Football. Can I just say this? The New York Giants are doing a whiteout, okay, on Monday night. Why are you doing a whiteout? Why? You are Big Blue. Big Blue.
Oh,
this is the NFL. We are not Penn State. We are not a college team. Your colors are blue. I understand you're going to be wearing white that night. Who cares what the fans wear? Just go win the damn football game, please.
This is what you do. These are just your opinions that you love to get caught up in stupid stuff. What the hell's the difference if they wear white out or it's Big Blue? I think the white out's cool. Aren't they wearing their color rush uniforms or whatever?
You know, I said
gorgeous jerseys.
You know that they are nice jerseys, but JM, watch that crowd on Monday night. They're promoting this white out like you wouldn't even believe. Watch. That stadium's going to be half blue. I promise. There's no way they're going to. And they're not even giving out T-shirts. You would think.
They're not?
Just for reference. Stupid. I think they're giving out towels or something.
They're not giving out a medium Pepsi. What was that thing they did last year?
Giving out a free Pepsi to whoever bought the ticket. So, like, if you went with 4 people, whoever bought the tickets could get the Pepsi.
One free medium Pepsi. Let's go.
Just for reference, okay, the Mets tried to do a blackout last month or something like that, right? It didn't go well, but they gave out 25,000 black T-shirts.
Right.
But the stadium was not all black. It just was a mixture of blue and orange and white and black. This is going to be a mixture of blue and white. I don't know if it's going to look good. I'm a little nervous. I think the Giants are going to be embarrassed. That's my thing.
Okay.
I think they're going to get embarrassed. But I think they have a chance to win the game. How about that? And Cooper Rush, we brought him up before. I thought he was really impressive on Sunday against the Bengals. Struggled a little toward the end, but I thought that was very impressive. A lot more than I thought we would see from Cooper Rush.
Yeah, did his job. Michael Irvin compared him to Tom Brady.
Oh.
So that was cool.
Yeah, that's something.
Yep.
That's definitely something.
Yeah. Cowboys fans. There you go.
You know them. This Dallas, these weapons that they have, though, I think I don't know if we kind of overrated them before the year, but it hasn't been what you thought you were going to get, especially production from a guy like CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, maybe the quarterback play, maybe the defenses that they're playing, but you thought they would be a little bit better.
We'll see this week. Moment.
God, they got to get rid of him. Is it a foregone conclusion that it's just going to be Sean Payton at the end of this year?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like no doubt about it.
Unless they, go to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I think if they lost, I was having this conversation with somebody. They could lose in the Super Bowl. I think you'd make a change.
By the way, this division's over.
Oh, 100%.
Over.
100%.
The Philadelphia Eagles, I am all aboard the wagon.
And I tried to get you on the wagon. Let's move on to them.
They are, and I was I predicted them to win the division, but it was because they had an easy schedule and whatever.
Right.
I'm on the Jalen Hurts train 100%, which I always kind of was, but I was like, let's see how he does this year. Before we, I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't want to get a little crazy, but I think he might have his name in the MVP conversation towards the end of the year. He's not going to win the MVP, but I think he'll have his name floating around.
I'll go crazy. Right now, they're the best team in the NFC, and I think they have a serious chance at going to the Super Bowl, like a real chance at representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
I underestimated Jalen Hurts, the passer, coming into the year.
I think I did too.
I didn't think they would be like slinging the rock that way they are right now, and it looks really impressive.
He's taken that next step that we all said he had to if this team wanted to be elite. And he's doing it. I didn't think that maybe it would be this obvious, this massive step to the point where, like you said, he's in an MVP conversation. But he's taken that next step to make this team easily a top 5 team in the NFL right now.
They're running
offense.
Yeah.
Their offense is almost impossible to stop.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They're running a beautiful offense because they can run the crap out of the ball, and now Hurts and the all passing game is clicking. So you have to defend the run, you have to defend the pass. So the play action is beautiful. They run RPOs. It's like they can run anything on you.
Had a lot of legal guys downfield though.
Oh yeah,
three guys. I can't believe
the Jets had a couple of those the other day too.
That's what these RPOs do though. They're really watching out for those calls. These refs.
They're running 3rd and 3 like halfback counters out of the shotgun and picking up 5 yards. Like they could do whatever.
They have multiple guys that can run the ball, and they're a perfect example of, by the way, you do not need a good running back or an elite running back to win in this league. They have Hurts, who can run. They have Sanders, who he's I don't know what you would call him, but he's not getting paid a ton. How about that? Kenneth Gainwell, solid. Boston Scott, when he's playing the Giants, he's Barry Sanders. So they are just a well-oiled machine right now, a great offensive line. They always have one. And the defense is really good. And by the way, the addition of A.J. Brown not only helps Jalen Hurts, and it's not only production for A.J. Brown, but it just helps everybody else in that receiving core that now it opens the field up for Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert, who's underrated, and other guys in that room.
Mm-hmm. Quez Watkins even.
Yeah, he had a big catch the other day.
Fly.
Yes, he can. He's a nice little number 3 receiver right there. Number 4 if you're counting Goddard. They're really good. They are really, really good. And you're right. Yeah, of course, the division's over. I don't think the Giants are going to really come close to winning this division. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. But, as it stands, they're tied for the division. That's the only reason why you bring up the Giants in this conversation. But they're much better than the Cowboys. They're better than the Commanders. We'll see that this weekend. Mm-hmm. It's the Eagles. It's all Eagles. It's all Eagles.
I think if I was a corner on the Viking or the Eagles, though, I think I could have picked off Kirk Cousins the other night.
Do you think
was disgusting?
Yeah, but Darius Slay was very impressive.
Oh yeah,
on Jefferson. And that was something.
Yeah,
he's a lockdown corner, that guy, and they got Bradbury on the other side. All right, let's talk about other 2 teams in the NFC that could be considered 2 of the best. I don't think they are, though. That's the Packers and the Buccaneers, and they're going to meet in Tampa Bay this Sunday at 4:25 on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen on that call. This should be interesting. They both took care of their business. By the way, I know you like the Saints. I'm completely out on the Saints. Completely out on the Saints.
Not looking good.
You can't consider yourself a serious contender to even win this division with Jameis Winston as your starting quarterback. You can't.
No. I mean, he that was the Jameis of old that we know. Or just Jameis.
That was Jameis on Tampa.
Yeah. He's got to take care of that football a little better.
Listen, it's setting up for you to be somewhat right because I think Tampa Bay's good. I think they're really solid. I think their defense is great. But they aren't as good as they've been in the past past couple of years. You're 100% right about that.
Let's see. What's the one? Love the Packers this weekend.
Yeah?
Love the Packers.
Let's see. Yeah, it's close. It's really close.
It's a pick'em game.
Yeah, it's really close.
I think in my head, the way I view both of these teams, I guess it's kind of just I don't know. But I'm definitely not confident in either of them right now. I know I just said I love the Packers, but the Bucks, I know we can never count Tom Brady out, and I don't know. I'm not going to say like he's washed and whatever because I don't think he's washed, but I don't think this is going to be a good year for them. I think the NFC is just it's kind of wide open right now. And I think you might see some teams really break out and emerge, like we're talking about the Eagles. And I think maybe a couple other teams might stand out as the weeks go on. But I don't love the Bucks and this offense.
Yeah, I think the Bucks defense is so good that they will kind of almost carry the load here for a little bit until the offense figures it out. You're 100% right. They don't look as good, but this Tom Brady looks miserable. He
Yeah.
looks miserable. Why did he come back? He's throwing things, he's screaming and yelling all over the field. He looks like a dad that is trying to get his kids to behave in the park.
Yeah.
He does not look like he's having a good time. Why did this guy come back? And they have injuries. Evans got suspended. Julio Jones, missed last week. He might miss this week. Chris Godwin's out. They have issues, but offensively, they've a lot of guys on the offensive line, but he just looks miserable. And by the way, what the hell is Bruce Arians doing on the sideline?
I don't know.
What is that?
What's his role now?
I
Is it a
don't
senior
even.
advisor or some BS thing like that?
It's also really clear that Brady really did not like him, and the
No.
reason why Arians is out as coach and Bowles is in is because of Tom Brady. They can't make that more obvious.
Oh, 100%.
It's a joke. And Green Bay, listen, their running game is unbelievable when they get it going. But if you can stop the run against that team, especially this year with these receivers, I think you're going to have a better chance of winning these games compared to the past. This is not the same offense, clearly without Adams and other receivers. I think they're going to have to run the ball, and if they're not running the ball, they have a chance to be beaten.
It's scary. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm worried.
Yeah.
This offense, like you just said, what's going to happen? Oh, it's got a weird pain in my elbow. Okay.
Ooh. Tommy John.
What's going to, left elbow. I'm fine.
Oh,
what's going to happen in the playoffs when they're down or the run's getting stuffed and they got to air the ball out? Obviously, there's not a worry about your quarterback, but maybe as the weeks go on, the chemistry gets better with these receivers, or they understand the offense better, these young guys, and it gets a little better. But Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Christian Watson, Sammy Watkins, all these guys, like, these are the guys you're going to be relying on?
It's not good.
I don't know. How much can Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon do?
God forbid one of them went down. Then what are you going to do? So you're 100% right about that. I definitely am a little worried about them, which is why I don't know if I would pick them this week. I mean, the Bucs run defense is great. So I don't know if I would pick them this weekend. I think they'll be able to shut it down. I actually like the Bucs in this game. So we'll see what happens with that. Where are we going next? The NFC. It's very, very interesting. Yes, but the AFC East may be even more interesting with these two teams in the division. The Dolphins at home hosting the Buffalo Bills, big time underdogs at home. But the Dolphins, what they did last week, I mean, we're considering these two, Waddle and Hill, the best combo of wide receivers in the league, and I think there's rightfully so.
Yeah. All right, that line isn't crazy. -5. What do you like in that game?
I'm not betting against Buffalo. I'm not doing it.
I agree. I mean, what's their point differential through 2 weeks? Like 50?
72 to 17.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not betting against this team. I don't care where the game is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all right, the Dolphins look good. Obviously, great win for them last week. I don't think they'll win the game, and I think I agree. I think the Bills will probably win this game by a touchdown or more. But I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised with the Dolphins so far. I mean, we're only 2 weeks in, but I didn't have them making the playoffs. I had them winning, I think, 7 or 8 games. I thought this defense, it was going to struggle. And I mean, listen, hey, it struggled last week. They got in a shootout, so we'll see how the defense plays the rest of the year. I wouldn't expect Tua to throw 6 touchdowns in a game, so let's see what kind of season he has as it goes on. But last week, teams have good games, and then guys have good games, and then guys have wow games. That was a wow game for the Dolphins, where that's one of those games where it kind of reminded me of Lamar in his MVP year. Again, Ravens, Dolphins, when he came out week 1, threw for 5 touchdowns. I'm not saying Tua is winning the MVP. That's not what I'm saying at all. He's not going to win the MVP. I still don't think Tua is that great, but I'm saying as the team and as the Ravens broke out that year, they went 14-3. That was kind of the vibes from that game too.
Yeah,
it was a little different. The Ravens won like 55-10 in 2018, but that's an offensive powerhouse game that teams, like I said, teams will have good games. Like the Jets, their offense isn't great. They had a nice game last week coming back, but unless you're a very talented offense, you can't put up 42 and throw for 6 touchdowns. That's what the Dolphins did. So I think this offense could be very, very good for an entire season.
They could be. One thing they don't do well is run the ball, which I think could be an issue for them. But again, when you have guys like this, maybe it's not. But defense is okay. Obviously, they got into a shootout. I think, listen, they played Lamar Jackson. He was fantastic in that game. But again, they did shut him down when it mattered in the fourth quarter. So that was impressive. I think this team can make the playoffs. I think they will. A 2-0 start. Very nice. It's perfect. They look good. Defense looked good in week 1. I don't know. I'm a big Mike McDaniel fan. That's where I'm at with this Dolphins team. I really like McDaniel. I think he'll find ways all season to get both of these guys involved and get them open. And I think he's going to make the game easier for Tua. Again, I'm not saying Tua is an MVP, but I was a big fan of Tua coming out of college. I still am holding out hope that he could be the quarterback for the Dolphins.
You see all this stuff about was it Lamar to the Dolphins? Well, first of all, there's Lamar to the Giants rumors.
Bring them. Let's go. Come on.
But Lamar to the Dolphins is also a rumor too.
I remember that rumor in the offseason.
Yeah, I think after last week they might have calmed down a little, but we'll see what happens with Tua as it goes on. All right,
Listen,
I have a question for you.
Yeah, Lamar, $50 million for the next 5 years. Be the quarterback.
Let's say the Giants go 7-10.
Okay.
Which obviously you would take.
I'd be disappointed at this point.
Oh, shut up.
They're gonna start 3-1.
Oh yeah, they can start 4-0.
No, I think they're gonna lose Monday night.
You think they're gonna lose to the Cowboys?
And they're gonna beat the crap out of the Bears. The Bears suck.
Okay. Let's say they go 7-10.
Okay.
Daniel Jones throws 22 touchdowns and 14 interceptions and has a 80 passer rating.
Out.
You guys have the 10th overall pick.
Yeah.
Or even whatever. Actually, you'll probably have a little lower than that. Like you have the 12th overall pick. What are you doing at the quarterback position?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Stroud, Young. There's this kid Levis. I'm pretty sure that's his name, from Kentucky. This kid Richardson, if he could get his head out of his ass, from Florida and play a little better. I don't know. I really don't. You got to get rid of Jones at that point. You're not bringing him back. I think it's obvious in the first 2 games they're winning in spite of this guy. So the Giants are gonna. Do you look at what's out there in the market? I don't know. I don't know where this team's gonna be.
You know, there's gonna be some sort of pressure for them to re-sign Saquon too, especially if he has some big year.
And they need to. And I trust this front office that they will not re-sign him. They cannot re-sign this guy. Please don't re-sign this guy. Right. They can't. But I think, listen, they're going to look to draft a quarterback, and if there's something, if Lamar's out there, or if Jimmy G has a good year and he's out there, and you want to make a play at him or those 2 guys, you do that. If you don't like what you got at your position in the draft, but I don't know. It's tough. It's a really tough call. What if the Giants go 9-8? And they're nowhere near a top spot over there, and Jones has some year.
Well, we'll see what happens in the offseason. It seems like there's a new quarterback on the trade market every offseason too. So maybe you'll look out with that.
Yeah, go get that quarterback. And listen, they're going to have a ton of money to spend this offseason. So, and they're going to cut Kenny Golladay. Did you see 2 snaps the other day? 2 snaps Kenny Golladay played.
He's already saying stuff in the media too, right?
Well, they asked him. They were like, how do you feel about it? He's like, I'm mad. And Dayball was like, I hope he's mad.
Yeah, you suck.
You're bad. You're making a ton. You called it. I think it's the worst it could go down as one of the worst contracts in franchise history, if not the worst contract in franchise history. Unless they sign Saquon, then that would be the worst contract.
Oh, already, dude, you're gonna 10 years from now, 5 years from now, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, remember that? What was that guy's name? Oh, Kenny Galladay.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's gonna be like the New York Deli conversation thing. And everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, that one guy the Giants signed years ago. Throw him in the conversation with all the other guys that everybody likes to talk about.
Jason Bay. Jason Bay's always brought up. Jacoby Ellsbury. Come on,
Yep.
he's right
Jermaine
in
Johnson. Boom. Put
Yep.
everybody in.
You're right in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's going to do it here for us, episode 75. Enjoy this beautiful crisp air this weekend. Enjoy the games, big baseball games. Aaron Judge watch, and let's see if the Mets can win the division or gain big a lead.
So, like when you go outside today, you been outside yet?
No, not yet.
Pants or shorts?
I'll probably gonna do like one of these crew necks and a shorts.
Ooh, sketchy.
Why? It's that
Crew
cold?
neck with the shorts. Well, I don't have any pants with me at school right now. Like I'm still in denial
that it's fall, that the seasons actually change.
Yeah, like, and listen, it's just a cold day today. I mean, next week it's gonna get a little colder.
I'm actually a little sick too. I've been sick for a few days. So
everybody's sick.
I know. So yeah, maybe I'll do long sleeve and sweatpants. I can do that.
Oh no! Why is there rain in the forecast for Sunday?
No, big Italian feast in North Massapequa this week.
You know, I kind of want to go to the San Gennaro Fest tonight.
Go.
Please.
Why don't you go? I'll meet you there. All right. That's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you guys next week.